In George Orwell's 1984, they can eliminate certain words required to express thought that is deemed unorthodox. We think in the language we communicate in, and if our vocabulary is greatly reduced, so too is our capacity for thought.
So the art style, however, the art style, and the art style, traditional art style, however, the way the art style is with the art style, however, you can see how the art style, however, the art style, I'm working hard to improve.
We should make fun of those who practice it. Should be openly talked about so we can learn from our mistakes.
Unfortunately, it appears that modern politically correct has taken it to be an instruction manual on how to impose tyranny.
Attack the said individual I'm about to talk about.
Ready that asshole, boy, because a train's coming for your ass.
Everyone is getting offended by everything, what many journalists are calling the snowflake generation.
Evidently focused entirely on shutting down free speech so no one can publicly complain about it.
And you know what happens when an immature person starts to opinionate on the internet, right? They become these things called annoying fan bases.
LGBT representation in anime is a very serious topic.
I hope you continue to support my channel and my videos from here on out.
The snowflake crowd are in many ways doing the complete opposite of what they seek to achieve. When we are forced to conform to extreme political correctness, it only strips away our freedom of speech and our ability to express ourselves.
Expressing your own opinion about a certain series or a certain character or whatever is great.
Joey, you're not who I thought that you were when I subscribed to your channel.
Just because I dislike this one show, that does not mean I am allowed to express my personal opinions on the topic.
People are not allowed to hate things anymore. People are being forced to think and behave in a particular manner that is more in keeping with the boundaries of progressive orthodoxy.
They can like whatever they like. They can dislike whatever they like. Not everything is made for everyone.
You're a straight man who likes anime titties, and that's all fine and dandy. I myself like anime titties, like, it's fucking great.
If I do end up saying anything negative, my deepest and most sincere apologies.
The snowflake generation are using social media en masse, such as Twitter, to publicly ridicule and beat down any who uses anti-PC language.
Hating on the person, spamming him saying you're horrible or whatever.
You can just be judged as being hateful, even if you didn't mean to be. Your speech and indeed your freedom ends where someone else's feelings begin.
Go ahead and voice your opinions out. It's great to hear other people's opinions on certain series.
If you're not going to give an honest, serious opinion on a very sensitive topic, you really shouldn't be talking about what the anime community really needs.
And to anybody else who watches my videos who took offense to anything I have said in my video.
This crowd does wield power because of advertisers. Just because it may be too edgy or offensive for certain demographics of their viewership. Advertisers will point blank refuse to advertise on shows that could be construed as offensive by pretty much anyone.
Too many people are forcing their opinions down other people's throats.
As a queer person, I am offended.
I will do my absolute best to refrain from using harsh and potentially offensive words.
What will you be in just a few short years? And what will it take for the proles to realize that they are no longer free in Airstrip 1?
Someone said something about me that I don't like, therefore I'm gonna go cry about it on the internet. Just reacting. He doesn't have any legitimate argument against Snob, and he doesn't have any legitimate argument about his content. It's not a legitimate response, it's just simply, I don't like what you said.
And so many are scared of what the public reaction may be if their content isn't entirely family friendly.
Discussing things at an intellectual level is a great thing.
You obviously don't understand it because you're a straight man. You don't understand how we feel.
You're not part of the LGBT community, so you'll never understand.
Because many millennials, especially in the West, have grown up in a time free of violent war, free of oppression and poverty, they have never known what it's like to not have everything. to not get what they want. This has instilled some people with a feeling of gross entitlement.
I want to see some damn bonkais, goddammit.
The burning your collection movement is getting out of control. Every time a fan gets disappointed with a series, he's burning everything related to it. It seems like it's not something worth mentioning, but look how complicating it becomes when you talk about the reasons behind it. Let's start with the obvious. It's stupid to do such a thing. You're getting so worked up over fiction to the point it gives you destructive tendencies. It's the pinnacle of immaturity. You're telling the world you're a butthurt man-child. The butthurt fans usually say it's their property and they are free to do anything they like with it. I understand that if it was something relevant only to you. But people who do that are always related to popular titles, not stuff nobody knows of. It's something that concerns millions who like it and you making a powerful statement. The very fact that you are taking pictures or making videos out of it automatically makes it more than a personal thing. You want others to see it and react to it, so the "it's my property" excuse does not fly. The butthurt fans also said that this is a form of catharsis. They want to be cleansed from everything that has disappointed them so much. Why keep around the object of their misery? The first thing anyone should do in order to begin recovering from a psychological trauma is to get rid of everything that reminds them of it. Here's the thing. Getting rid of something does not necessarily mean you need to destroy it. You could simply give it away to someone else. It seems like you are making someone else suffer just like you did if you give him the thing which caused you pain, but that implies everyone will have the same reaction as you did. What you hated can be what someone else will love. Destroying it also takes away the chance of other people understanding what was so bad or good about it. The best way to understand why you were disappointed is to show them, instead of acting like a man-child which breaks its own toys when it gets tired of them. In fact, giving away what you no longer like is a way better method to recover from a horrible trauma. Destroying something is a very possessive act. It's like saying, if I can't enjoy it, nobody will. This is not how you should be thinking when you want to leave something behind you. By destroying it, it will forever be part of your mind. On the other hand, giving it away is a statement of how little value it has for you, and thus becomes much easier to get over it. Now, I know that for most of you, this whole thing is just about a bunch of spoiled brats with too much money to waste, who are showing off by filming their nonsense. But it can get pretty nasty, such as in the case of a boy who committed a suicide, so it can be with its wife in the afterlife. His parents reacted by burning his anime collection and demanding for anime to be banned for causing so much pain to them. Because as we all know, being parents has absolutely nothing to do with your son being left without psychological support to the point he kills himself for hating the reality you abandoned him in. It's all the anime's fault. Let's burn them and deny everybody else from enjoying them as well. So much selfishness that could have been easily avoided if you were simply giving away whatever bothers you.
Burning and destroying your volume, that's not helping anyone. All it's helping is my ego and just me being immature and showing I'm a fucking child. I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to be doing about this? It's not really sending a message to anyone but saying I am an immature person. And so what this means is that you destroying your volume makes no fucking sense. It's disturbing. It really disturbs me. Should you go off and, burn these volumes? Do you see me burning my fairy tale volumes? No. You want to know why? Because there would serve no point in me doing so. The only time I would ever get rid of this is if I could give it to someone that would like to read it. That's it. Just seeing this pop up, what am I going to be doing about this? Regardless if I dislike a series or not, if I already own something of it, I'm not going to go out of my way to fucking destroy it and burn it. No, that's immature. So you don't see me doing this. You don't see me fucking lighting Fairy Tail on fire, regardless of how I feel about it. It's immature. What am I going to be doing about this? What the shit is wrong with you? I cannot believe how immature people can really be.
There is a recent case of drama on our anime regarding someone feeling uncomfortable with a lolly fan service in No Game No Life, and everybody disagreeing with him. Out of all the replies I checked out, I want to focus on these two comments. One is how complaining about anything in a subreddit will automatically have a negative response by everyone, because subreddits are by default echo chambers. People go there for finding like-minded communities, regardless of whatever they believe being right or moral, or sports. This comment is correct. All subreddits promote hive minds and condition their members to automatically attack anyone who disagrees with them. But that doesn't make them right. Having a lot of people who believe in a lie teaming up against individuals who know better is not justice. It's just a lot of people getting butthurt over the truth. At worst, anyone who disagrees is nothing more than a party pooper. At best, he is a warning sign. As for the other message, he basically says what it's like when you can't find a community that suits you. He likes the anime aesthetic, but then the industry kept making crap he didn't care about, and the community around him became creepy, thus driving him away from the medium. That is what happens to anyone who doesn't want to be part of a changing subforum such as our anime. Most of you must have felt it too as years go by. Whatever a trend brought you into the medium is now gone, replaced with something which you don't care about, and is filled with people you don't think like you. And the moment you express your discomfort, they attack you for being honest. This is something very few people understand about growing out of a medium. It is not just you becoming older and wiser, it is also the people kicking you out for expressing opinions that do not follow the hive mind. I didn't become a snob only because I watched a lot of anime and movies and cartoons. The generation I watched them with is also not there anymore. They left the medium and got replaced with modern crap who treat you like shit because you don't derp over every new bullshit that comes out. My Hero Academia is the new gold standard for anime. Black Clover is the new king of shonen anime. The Tower of God is the beginning of a new era for anime because Korea is superior to Japan. No matter how excited you are when you first come into the medium and you actually believe that shit, there is a certain amount of bullshit you can support before you just can't do it anymore. You cannot get behind everything. You eventually settle with the shows you like and don't accept they get surpassed every 3 months with the next hottest new thing that comes out. There comes a time when you had enough nonsense and nobody supports you. This doesn't necessarily mean you no longer care about the medium. The fun you had with it while you were more tolerant will not magically go away. You just don't like what it has become. And the thing is, those who don't change, supposed, and permanently remain fans of the medium, supposed, are not better fans than you. You see how I constantly make fun of people like Chibi and the Ogre? They are not better anime fans than those who gave up because they remain excited and get behind every new bullshit that comes out. Partly because their mental growth stops at the age of 12, and partly because you know they are faking it. You can see it in the way they talk and behave. They're not actually excited over everything for over a decade now. They pretend to be positive for exploiting people for money. Not even they are actually in it anymore. As for those who think they still are behind something after a decade, oh boy, what a bunch of fruitcakes they are. When you stay too long within a fandom, you don't realize how your way of thinking slowly changes, and you eventually start believing in headcanons that exist only within the community. That's what happened with the Potter retards, who after 20 years of constantly shipping gay couples and changing the races of the characters, they now think they're completely unrelated to the book's fanfictions, are the real shit, and go as far as attacking the very creator of said books for not accepting every bullshit they made up. What do you think cancel culture actually is? It's a bunch of lunatics who for over a decade have been kicking out of their communities anyone who disagrees somewhere, and condition the rest of them to accept stuff that are not true. Their echo chamber becomes so strong they no longer listen to reason and attack anyone who has a different opinion of them. That is why you cannot ignore the fanboys and go on enjoying other shows. They will keep getting more and more vocal and eventually will come after you and anyone else who is not accepting their bullshit. That's what happened with Tumblr, that's what happened with Twitter, and that's what's happening with comic books and movies and journalism. And that is what happened with Digibro. Keep leaving him to his own devices and he will keep falling deeper into the rabbit hole. Because his parents never helped him while there was still time. Because his fans were behind every bullshit he was saying. Because not many were listening to me when I was warning them about him. And now I was proven right as I always am. Down to it, there are only 3 options. You can stay in a fandom and become a freakazoid with arrested development who has no touch with reality. You can leave and ignore the fandom until they come after you for not being a freakazoid with arrested development. Or you can be like me, who left the fandom but doesn't let it be. You become a mentor who tells cautionary tales, so the newbies will be better prepared for the inevitable down the line. This video is also a cautionary tale. You can ignore it, or you can cancel anyone who doesn't support you wearing a skirt and jerking off to animated children. What is wrong with that? You're not a fan of anime if you don't wear a skirt and jerk off to animated children. I will tell my buddies over at the subreddit to mass attack you until we kick you out of the internet for not accepting our headcanon, you impatient hater!
A lot of dumbass shit has been happening in our community. My buddy Chibi Reviews did a pretty good recap. There was a certain relationship between certain characters which has gotten a lot of people quite fucking salty. There are a lot of people who are very passionate and very emotionally engaged, sending hurtful, hateful, harassing messages and tweets. Are you fucking serious? This isn't the only case of this happening. Expressing your own opinion about a certain series or a certain character or whatever is great.
Joey, you're not who I thought that you were when I subscribed to your channel.
Just because I dislike this one show, that does not mean I am allowed to express my personal opinions on the topic. Laughably ridiculous. Towards those people who have either ever thought about or have actually committed to writing these kinds of hurtful, hateful, harassment-filled messages and death threats, you are an embarrassment in every sense of the word. Are you really gonna try and justify being so salty to the point where you are going to send legitimate harassment? What the fuck is wrong with you?
The anime snob. Oh, I can't wait to fucking criticize you on your videos.
That's fucking stupid. That is no longer criticism, that's just harassment.
Ready that asshole, boy, cause a train's coming for your ass.
Jesus Christ, dude! Calm the fuck down and grow the fuck up. We're living in an age where we can fucking say anything or do anything, create anything and share it with anybody all over the world. But nobody can do or say or create anything anymore without somebody just losing their shit and getting extremely offended. Why can't we all just get along?
You obviously don't understand it because you're a straight man. You don't understand how we feel.
You're not part of the LGBT community, so you'll never understand. If you have some criticism that has valuable points that people can use to reflect and change upon, then I think that is completely fair to say. But if you're gonna get offended purely for the sake of being offended and trying to sound pseudo-intellectual with your moral high grounds, this is just fucking unacceptable.
Getting ready to talk mad shit on your character online, bro. Mad shit.
It's embarrassing, it's shameful, it's ridiculous, and it needs to fucking stop.
Hope you enjoy being criticized, because you know what goes around fucking comes around.
Are you lonely?
It makes you look like a prick. It makes the community itself seem more cancerous than it already fucking is. We need to grow up as a community and learn to just chill the fuck out. And the first step is to bring light towards this apparent recurring problem as quickly as possible and to as many people as possible.
And he may have said for us not to do this, but I'm only doing what you do to other people back to you.
The people who have actually learned to give critiques and give their hate out in kind of a funny, jokey way by creating all of these awesome memes, those kinds of people are what make the anime community cool.
I found someone who was deeply affected by Japan sinks to the point of getting anxiety attacks. The anime in question has been shat upon by most anime fans for being schlocky. It relies too much on shocking the viewer with sudden deaths and mayhem instead of having much of a plot or memorable characters. Such things should be enough to break the immersion and not allow the viewer to be emotionally invested in whatever is going on. I had a chat with a person who got the anxiety attacks, and turns out she is a young woman who never went through a real-life crisis and is easily affected by shocking scenes regardless of quality. It's a striking difference with someone like me who grew up in the Cold War, went through mandatory military service, and was feeling hopeless and depressed for a year after his family business got shut down by the 2009 economic crisis. I am quite used to shocks of any kind, and when it comes to fiction, post-apocalyptic scenarios were the bread and butter of my childhood. If any of you saw Pink Floyd's Goodbye Blue Skies, then you have a good idea of how it was like to grow up with the constant fear of waking up every morning to a new war. This is not the case with anyone born after the 80s. The Cold War was no more, societies became multicultural, and you could no longer be insensitive to other races. The reason people are now a lot easier to trigger is the lack of growing up in fear of an external enemy, and the lack of an outlet through offending comedy. A big portion of what makes something funny is humiliation, and if you cannot make fun of certain types of people, the comedy doesn't have much of a punch. This has been brilliantly portrayed by The Muppet Show in this 1979 clip.
There was this sailor who was so fat. How fat was he? He was so fat that everybody liked him, and there was nothing funny about him at all. Oh, wait, please. Oh, please. Please, wait. I'm trying so hard. Please don't do that.
Many people think I'm insensitive, but that's not true. I care more about anime than most who call themselves anime fans. I love them so much, I am not going easy on them, and I have been through enough anxiety as I grew up to the point of being unfazed by schlocky jump scares found in shows like Japan Sinks. When I am not impressed by such shows, is because, unlike that woman, I don't get anxiety attacks over nonsense. I have lots of experience when it comes to good fiction, and I don't consider offending comedy to be bad comedy. In the contrary, I was raised to love it. So when I see people getting worked up over a schlock and then can't take a joke, I feel like I'm on a different planet.
Now let's face it, you already had the honeymoon, that's the best part of the marriage. If it goes any longer, they turn into this. And if you're really unlucky, you get a couple of these. Then you turn into this.
A little bit of the fandom and myself have had a disagreement, and it wasn't the most pleasant to say the least. And this is not exclusive to the Black Clover fandom by any means. Still don't see why so many people took it as if I was bashing it, saying that it's, garbage or anything like that. It didn't feel like Black Clover. It felt like, again, Super Sentai, Power Rangers, just a whole different vibe than what we've been accustomed to for 300 plus chapters of this series. I've said a billion times over here, I praised Tabata, I've gave him nothing but support, saying, yo, take a break if you need to, all of that jazz. And then somebody called me out for being toxic, for saying, damn, Tabata, get it together, fam. It's never by any means anything like toxic or disrespectful of me saying these things. It's more so like, yo, let's get back on course. Let's get back to that feel that I really love. So when people took it and like it was just a shit show over there on Twitter, I was like, god damn, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this has happened to me before with the Boruto fandom. Is like, yo, it's okay to say something that is not alongside and aligning with the popular opinion. I'd be having these series backs, and a lot of the times the fandom, when it gets to a certain point and we have a disagreement, they don't be riding with me. And remember the golden rule. No matter how much you support, no matter how much you show love, no matter how much, even though everybody else curses whatever it is that is going on, and you still are the one holding down its back, when you have one disagreement, I noticed that fans, they just will straight up like cast you aside and act like you never did anything. It's like you gave 100 or you gave 99 yeses and you gave one no, and boom, you're the bad guy, get out of here. And yeah, it was really bad.
I often find comments on Reddit which come down to,
don't ask questions.
If the topic has been brought up so many times and the answers are now very specific, what's the point in making another topic about them? You know what people are going to say, so
just consume product and then get excited for next products.
This is another excuse for shutting down any form of discussion that promotes critical thinking. Yes, the same topic has been brought up many times before and the answers are specific. You can easily say the topic starter is being lazy because he doesn't look up for the answers, or he's being stubborn and doesn't accept those answers, so he keeps repeating the same questions. It doesn't change the fact that Reddit is a forum where people discuss whatever interests them. Nobody's forced to participate in a topic he doesn't like, and he's free to express his disagreement. Comments like these are all about shutting down any form of discussion, regardless of said discussion being done to death. Like it or not, what you know is not the same as what everybody else knows, and what is obvious to you is not obvious to a lot of other people. If they want to discuss something to which they have not reached an agreement, it's their issue, not yours. So whenever I see this kind of answers, I get angry because they come down to, shut up, we are not gonna change our minds, so why bother? This is not your issue, mate, it's his. And if you don't want to discuss it, you got no right demanding from people to not discuss it either. Because, believe it or not, I have changed a lot of people's minds by discussing stuff with them. I never said to a single one of them to shut the hell up. I told them what I think regardless of how many times I had to say it. Now, are these people lazy or stubborn for bringing up topics that have been discussed to death? Yes, but telling them to shut up goes against the concept of a forum. You are free to not say anything, as you are free to link a previous topic where the same issues were brought up. But telling people to shut up because you don't like it? Why don't you shut up?
Lycoris Recoil is probably the most popular anime in Japan. Have you been recently regaining some faith in humanity? Well, if you have, I'm here to squash that feeling. Trending with over 500,000 tweets on social media, people were in love with the series before it kind of fell off the trending tab on Twitter. It's very positive impressions overall. The individuals that are attacking the staff. The series was trending in a massive way. A lot of people were talking about it because the finale came out yesterday. This Chinese board or whatever actually sending a mob, a hate mob after the staff to attack the individual because they didn't get a Yuri ending. Lycoris Recoil is the most popular in Japan. The question I think many are going to start wondering is why? There was no Yuri ending. When I look at everything, when I look at the series and just its overall explosion of popularity, it makes a lot of sense for a few reasons. Shipping wars, here you go. If you're a good writer, if you know how to do execution on these said cliches, you can turn the most cliche thing into the most heartbreaking and emotional journey that you could experience. There is a lot of backlash, a lot of outrage that people didn't get the conclusion they wanted. The people that were working on this, they did a fantastic job. You had these individuals literally sending hate mobs after the staff because they didn't get what they wanted. I do think it's a very solid story and it deserves the love it has been getting. Was your brain made for Majima's cum? Bro. This series has been really doing a good job with Chisato, our main female character. Look at this. It is true that only people who have been NTR by women will write such a rubbish ending. The way the character is handled is just, honestly, it's the best part about the entirety of the series. No one cares what narcissistic sexuality you have. Just like, bro, easily one of my favorite villains of 2022. You are a despicable liar and failed screenwriter. Such a phenomenal scene. Your writing is as good as The Last of Us. The story beats, music, visuals, everything, every department, I would say 10 out of 10 scene. You better think about what the audience wants more. The creator should set up the right values to the audience instead of making a bad guy play the leading role. It's a very emotional scene. Attack the staff because you didn't get the ending you wanted. I love Mika as a character. Mika is just so freaking good. Such a good character. Once again, another reason to not like shipping wars.
You don't have to look any further for examples of cowardice than Chibi's channel. Every time he says something negative about a show, has to be followed with an apology video where he says he's sorry for being negative and that the complete crap he spoke badly about is actually amazing and that he will continue being positive about it in the future. This is what happens when you build your persona as a baby that is always positive. Your audience expects you to be positive all the time, even for bad shows like The Shield Hero. The entire community is shitting on this show, but not Chibi. He has to be positive even for that and apologizes for not loving it 24/7. I know many use the excuse of a show having ups and downs, and that you can be positive for one arc and negative for another, but this is not what is going on here. Chibi is asking for forgiveness when he is negative over anything, for any reason, at any point in time. That's how oversensitive both he and his community have become, and why the medium as a whole went to shit. They are not reliable because they rely too much on positivity instead of the truth. It's also why I am so much better than him, because I never apologize for being negative, and in fact being negative is the norm on my channel. In those few instances I am positive, my audience is actually pleased about it. Not all of them, obviously. You won't believe how many pissed off Sonic fans I gathered, who were angry at me for being positive for certain games. Well, that's a special case, since there are no bigger haters of Sonic than his own best fans, so that was expected. Even in that case, I didn't apologize to them, and I didn't promise to be more negative here on, since I don't care how oversensitive their community is. I speak the truth and I stick to it, instead of backtracking and changing my mind, because I got a few people really mad. This is how every anime fan should be like, yet in the horrible modern world we are living in, I am the exception and Chibi is the norm.
Well, well, well. I have royally made the Demon Slayer fanbase angry with me. And you're probably wondering, why are they mad? Well, I made a video talking about Demon Slayer, its recent sales for its movie that came out, World Tour. I talked about how successful it was. I actively go within that short 7-minute video defending Demon Slayer. And I bring up the topic that's always mentioned all the time, that Demon Slayer is carried by animation. And I made points and said that it's a bit of both, but most of all, I think Demon Slayer stands on its own 2 feet, and it's worthy of all the praise and success that it gets. And you'd think, with that, that'd be left at that. People would be happy, that's it. I expected maybe pushback from those that hate Demon Slayer to be angry with me, get heat from them. But no, I got heat from individuals that think I absolutely loathe Demon Slayer, and I think that it is carried by animation.
I want to enjoy things. I want to purposely try everything I can to enjoy things.
You'll start to see a bunch of people coming after me that clearly have not even watched the video to see me praise Demon Slayer, coming at me saying like this right here, Demon Slayer haters, and they see Demon Slayer breaking records, all this type of stuff. Sometimes people just don't read or want to look up the topic about what they're commenting on, but this is one of those times. It's legitimately one of those times to where I'm encountering a moment from Twitter, a Twitter moment, so to speak, where people are upset with me for defending their series and not putting it down. What? Like, what?
Criticism most of the time comes from like, hey, we gotta knock this down a peg. Criticism like that makes you feel like it's dampening the experience.
Wow. They didn't watch the video. There was no reading comprehension, I would say, or at least they didn't take the time to watch a 7-minute video.
I want to purposely go and try hard to enjoy stuff. You know what I'm saying? I want to try my best to feel good.
Having people come after me for something that they don't even know anything about. Like, they didn't decide to do research on what I was even talking about.
And I feel like if more people adopt that motto, we'll get healthier dialogues, healthier conversations, and just in general, we'll enjoy anime and manga a lot more.
There are individuals that just obviously want to find someone to go after because they're a little bit upset if there is any form of a scent of criticism.
Nah, bro, I'm trying so hard. I want to enjoy this one. I love this in the manga, just in general. I really rock with the series. I want to enjoy it.
The moment you are being paid to do something, you are no longer allowed to express any opinion that doesn't please the payers. This is not limited to paid requests, which are very specific and are done with a specific objective in mind. Any form of payment is also a form of restriction. When you e-bag, just for not giving up on making videos, you still become part of a system that runs on you getting paid. The Anime Man and Chibi reviews are some of the oldest people I made videos regarding that. And at the time, many didn't believe me when I said they sold out. They said they only need the money to continue doing the thing they like. They didn't sell out as I claimed. Before you know it, both of them were making apology videos every time they were angering a lot of their fans. If they weren't doing it for the money, they wouldn't have to make apology videos. They were afraid of losing the thousands of dollars they were making at the time. You might think they were truly apologizing for actual mistakes they made, and there is nothing wrong with admitting you made a mistake. This is again incorrect, since if they weren't afraid of losing something, they wouldn't be apologizing. Do you remember anyone being polite and constantly apologizing in the early life of YouTube? I sure don't. People had no incentive to please the masses when nothing was at stake. It's why content creators were often negative and rude and didn't take shit from anyone. And then cancel culture happened. The result of giving average people the power to damage your business just because you said something they didn't like. Why was such a privilege given to average people in the first place? Because a platform that keeps getting bigger and needs monetary aid and support by its users has to pander them more and more. If it doesn't, they will leave, and it will be left with a huge debt and a diminishing community that doesn't help out. Thus you give them power, and you leave them unchecked to do as they like, because you can't be bothered to double check if the channels they shut down are as bad as the people who deserve to be banned from the platform for abusing the report button. What you care is keeping them on the platform, watching advertisements that didn't originally exist. But now they do, and you are making money out of them, so the platform can continue to exist. Before you know it, thousands of channels, mine included, shut down for offending someone, and thousands more had to constantly apologize every time they were saying something that offended someone. This brings us to the last point I want to make regarding that. Equality is bullshit. Nobody's opinion should be equal as everybody else's. If someone is an expert in a field, how can his claims be of the same importance as someone's who has no idea of what he's talking about? Following the same logic, why is equality good if you are forced to have the same opinions as everybody else, or you're not going to be paid and probably be reported so they can cancel you? Why is equality good if you are constantly afraid to speak your mind and you have to repeat what everybody else is saying? Screw equality! It's a communistic dystopian nightmare. Things were fine while you were not paid to say specific things, and while you were not afraid to speak out because of the cancel culture.
This very dark and depressing chapter. Be honest in the comments below. I'm legitimately curious. Be honest in the comments below. 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 Be honest in the comments below.
So, Chibi got death threats yesterday for shipping 2 people in Chainsaw Man. I could make it be a video about how horrible the fans of that manga are, but I will instead make it about the difference in attitude between my generation and Chibi's generation. Swearing and death threats weren't less uncommon when I was young, but because there were no mass media, such things weren't becoming popular, and as a result they were quickly getting forgotten. If someone was saying bad things about you, only a dozen people would hear them, and even they would forget about it in a week at the most. But now, because of mass media, the simplest insult can spread very fast. It doesn't even need to be something new. You can have things someone said from 20 years ago becoming public and widespread all of a sudden. That causes a lot of mental pressure, since you can get attacked at any moment of your life for something you said or did at any other moment of your life. My generation didn't have that. It was guns by guns for most of the things we said or did, and as a result we had a spine. Words didn't hurt us that much, because we knew very few would remember them after a week. And that is why many older people don't get it, why all these 30-year-olds are crying over something bad someone said about them. It's just words, you know. They can't really hurt you unless you let them. But they are only saying it because they assume words cannot hurt you, which is not true anymore. There is doxing, cancel culture, swatting, people coming to your house and doing actual things to you. It's no longer just words. Nowadays people can physically hurt you with words. I lost my first channel because I exposed the lies of Chibi, and along with it I lost hundreds of dollars from ads and dozens of viewers who could have paid me to review something. With that said, I didn't cave in. I didn't become depressed, I didn't cry on camera, and I didn't give up on making videos. I went back at it and life went on. Chibi cannot do that, the same way most of his soy boy generation cannot do that. It's why they are constantly apologizing and cry on camera and send their minions to bully anyone who said mean words about them. And it works because Chibi already got a lot of people to talk about him and to give him support and shoutouts that will increase his subscribers and his daily views, thus making him more money by playing the victim card. Basically, the ones who attacked him only made him stronger by making him act weaker than what he actually is. This generation is so dumb, it rewards anyone who is acting like a crying baby in his 30s while punishing anyone who doesn't. You know, me. It's why we can't have good things anymore, and why retro always wins.
On July 20th, Bandai retconned the marriage between Miori and Silhouette, and the Twitter stans lost their goddamn minds.
I'm tired of people pretending that Gundam Witch from Mercury isn't ours. It belongs to the LGBTQ community, and it's ours. Anyone who thinks otherwise are just homophobe bigots. We were robbed of more lesbian scenes and a wedding.
So Bandai walking it back had to sting for people who only liked the show for one reason, which was the love affair that was possibly gay, or is. Who cares, really?
Really, the only people really alienated by G-Witch were the unsavory kind of Gundam fans that are way too into Zeon's fascist aesthetic. LOL!
People on Twitter were so over the moon with the happy ending and the same-sex marriage depicted only in rings that they didn't care one bit about how rushed the show was, how the ending made no sense at all. This is a downright reprehensible, disgusting move. If you don't rectify this and stand by your story where they are married, may all of your sales of future Gundam franchises burn up and fall into the abyss.
We were never asked, but it's about Suli Mio and Bandai's homophobic up-to-interpretation bullshit.
Up-to-interpretation is now homophobic. Notice how anything less than belly rubs is oppression. The bar for homophobia is incredibly low. If you don't care about this change in G-Witch, odds are you're a homophobe by this person's standards. If you think these people having a meltdown is funny, you're probably a phobe.
Gundam's message is always about humanity and understanding. Homophobia is against everything the show stands for.
How is something being up to interpretation homophobia? The second you do one thing they don't like, you do something that upsets them, you're a homophobe for life. These people are more upset with Bandai retconning this than they are with the show being rushed and the story making little to no sense at times, and things just seem up in the air. G-Witch stands were so pissed off that some of them started setting their model kits on fire. They were also advocating for setting Bandai Namco on fire.
Like, you genuinely have to be blind if there is any room for interpretation.
A below mid anime with a fan base consisting of mainly shippers and the Alphabet Gang that gaslit me for 2 months into thinking something was wrong with me for not liking The Witch of Mercury. The only thing they cared about was the same-sex marriage. Everything else wasn't even on their radar.
Another day, another example of how terrible this community has become. These are all comments I got from Tokyo Revengers. That anime nobody watches, nobody likes, nobody talks about, and in general it's that anime that got a stupid amount of hype for nothing and lost it all in half a season. Yet the few dozen remaining fanboys of it do not stop harassing anyone who states why he didn't like it. It's not even a show that is hyped anymore. It's not something people are blind to its problems. It's a mediocrity that sold a lot and now nobody gives a shit about anymore. Yet the fanboys are still going to bully you for saying it. And they are gonna use stupid excuses like, if you didn't like it, why did you watch it? Because if I hadn't watched it, I wouldn't know I don't like it. Or would you prefer if I didn't like it without even watching it? Notice that eventually they switch their excuses to, if you're not constantly positive, find another hobby, implying analyzing anime is not a hobby. Pointing out what went wrong in a story is not a hobby. Spending a lot of time on something that doesn't make you a lot of money simply because you like it is not a hobby. Fanboys want you to believe a hobby is something you are forced to be positive all the time. It is when you are gassing up something even if you don't believe it deserves it, and above all it's when you are being paid to say what the corporations want you to say. If you don't do that, you have no business being an anime fan, and you deserve to be reported and banned. Something that has happened to me over a dozen times across several platforms. That is how fanboys think and act, that is how they treat you all the time, and then fool themselves to believe they have the moral high ground, or that forgotten mediocrities like Tokyo Revengers deserve defending from 99.99% of mankind. Because why should their opinions be respected? It's not like we have democracy or freedom of speech or something.
So now we've got the My Little Pony fandom going after one of the most well-known My Little Pony comic book artists, because apparently there's a black-coated pony and he didn't draw her mane black enough. I think it's a she.
Okay.
I don't know. It could be a they, them. The way things are going now, I have no idea. I have no idea the gender of these ponies.
Piccolo's the black character. Clearly.
We have seen this happen so many times.
Constantly.
Mostly it's about skin tones, but now we're talking about hairstyles. Remember the Afro poofs in Animal Crossing?
Yes, and that Nintendo had to say that anybody can use the Afro poofs.
Anybody can use the Afro.
The hairstyles across different cultures. It's not just one race of people.
Piccolo's story is literally the journey of the black man.
Coding is just Tumblrized stereotyping, says Sparky.
Because Frosta has ice power. She's an Eskimo. And Snake Eyes has to be Asian because, martial arts. But that's winning, guys. That's showing everyone stereotyping's wrong.
Yeah, it's really weird how freakishly obsessed a lot of these cartoon stands are about coding of cartoon characters and also who they're fucking.
The black man's journey, that is literally Piccolo's story.
She-Ra fans were mad because somebody drew an original Mermista fan art piece and they were attacking them, trying to kill themselves over whitewashing Mermista, even though Mermista was white originally.
Obviously, because of the slave trade and all that, black people lost their identity.
If you were doing this for so long, and then all of a sudden everything changed and was like, oh my God, the pony's not black enough. And then you're like being harassed by a bunch of men who identify as juveniles or whatever the fuck is going on. I'd be upset too.
Him going to Namek is like, going back to Africa.
I tried to share my vast knowledge on Anilist, and within a few days they perma-banned me for being negative about the community. Because as a wise man once said, if you're not gonna be positive, why say anything? You're only allowed to be positive about the anime community or they will ban you. This has happened so many times so far, I don't wanna repeat why it's bad for the community. I will just clip someone who was recently accused of not being positive.
There are people out there that are spitting positivity as if 2023 was some type of banner year. And I couldn't bring myself to go out there and just bold-faced lie to anyone about what's actually going on right now. It's actually very, very bad to where people walked away totally. Is that what you want from me? Do you really want so much positivity that I actually lied to your faces? Because I can't bring myself to do that. But is that what you want from me? Would you like me to come out here and talk about all the faux positivity going on? I can't do that. I cannot bring myself not to be honest. I don't have to do anything but be honest anymore. And I hear people out there going, it's time to focus on the positivity. To not be negative anymore, we need to focus on the positivity despite all its faults. I know there are people out there that do have hope and they don't want to give up. And I reject that. I am here to offer an honest appraisal of what's actually going on. I actually would like to be honest about anything.
If you pay attention to what is going on in pop culture for over a decade, you will know that every medium of entertainment collapses because the creators of once lovable franchises can't shut up and constantly attack their fans. The fans could be saying anything they like. A creator is not responsible to defend what he is doing. He can listen to their feedback, he can ignore their feedback, but he is not supposed to attack them because it will only backfire. But because it's so easy to show your face on camera these days, and you think the world really cares about your opinions, almost nobody can keep his mouth shut and ends up destroying the franchises he's part of. To a lesser degree, this applies to fanboys. They can have an opinion, they can ignore opinions of others, but they are not supposed to attack those who disagree, because they only end up making themselves look stupid and ruining the image of the show they defend even further. This is one recent example. A One Piece fanboy appears and doesn't keep his mouth shut, thus making the fandom and the show to be even worse in the minds of those who are not fanboys. He mocks not just me, but any of you who don't think One Piece is the best thing ever. You don't know anything about art. You are nibbas who hate thinking. You lose your shit every week. Isn't that exactly what the fanboys are doing? I can use the exact same words against them and it will be still valid. And if you are not blinded by fanboyism, you will know that what I am doing is the exact opposite of what the fanboys are doing. It's just that they can't accept the truth, so they project all the faults they know but don't accept doing onto those who are telling them the truth. Thus, with these simple mental gymnastics, they throw the blame onto those who are actually trying to help them. I am not the one who doesn't know anything about art, although the only manga I read is aimed at children. You're the one who doesn't know about art. I don't hate thinking, although I am too dumb to accept the myriad problems in the show. You are. I don't lose my shit every week when the next retcon ruins every theory I ever made for yet another time. You are. And that is why you are allowed to talk, you are allowed to listen to what others say and ignore them if you want to. But beyond that, you should shut the hell up, because if you don't, this happens, and now One Piece is even worse than before.
A series can have the most perfect and sound ending possible with the best explanations and everything making complete sense, and people will still find a way to hate the ending and call the anime or manga absolute garbage because of it. I mean, it's been happening for the last few months already. My Hero Academia ended and people overreacted so much on it, saying that it is the worst ending ever, saying that the entire series is ruined. People can't comprehend basic writing anymore. Even when the writing makes sense, people will still complain, with Attack on Titan being another big example. Attack on Titan had one of the best endings I have ever seen to a manga, but people absolutely loathe the ending and say that it ruined the entire series, despite it making complete sense with the rest of the story. Can you imagine the backlash One Piece is going to get no matter what its ending is? People will hate the ending for no reason at all, even if it's an ending that makes perfect sense, which I'm sure it will. Even if it's an ending that fills up every single plot point in the story and ties up everything so nicely, people will still absolutely hate it, because nowadays it is impossible to satisfy the anime community. People just want to hate on something for no reason at all. They just want to have something to hate on, as shown with Attack on Titan, as shown with My Hero Academia, and as shown with Jujutsu Kaisen right now. People just like to hate, simply because it's popular or because it's competing with their own favorite series. The One Piece ending, no matter what it will be, people will not like it. People will label One Piece as trash because of it, even if it's the most perfect ending ever. But either way, I'm still always going to love One Piece, and I'm sure Oda is going to do a fantastic job with the ending. I have not seen one person say anything good about it or say that they liked the ending of Jujutsu Kaisen. And I knew that people were going to hate the ending regardless of whether it was actually bad or actually good. But was the ending of Jujutsu Kaisen really that terrible? Are people's feelings justified about them not liking the ending? Because you guys know the anime community. As of recently, people will hate on anything just to hate. So are these feelings actually valid, or are people mindlessly hating because one person said something? This is one of those rare situations where people's feelings are actually justified, and the hate that Jujutsu Kaisen is getting is kinda deserved for the ending. I did tell you guys so. I mean, I made multiple videos on this channel talking about how Jujutsu Kaisen is getting rushed, talking about how the ending is not going to be that great because there are too many loose ends, there's too many things that haven't been tied up. But what did people say? People called me a hater. People said I don't know what I was talking about, I didn't understand the story, that I should just let Gege Akutami finish, and that the ending was going to blow me away. Did the ending blow me away? Yes, in the worst ways possible.
Here is a classic allegory many are using whenever you criticize something they like. If you don't like something, don't review it, because it's like you are a vegan going in a steakhouse, and instead of enjoying the food, you are just nagging about everything and ruin everyone's fun. There are many things wrong with this allegory, and I'm gonna break it down for you just to see how fanboys can't stitch together a proper sentence. Bullshit number 1. No negative reviews are allowed. Says who? Anyone is allowed to be as positive or as negative as he wants. We don't live in North Korea. Negative reviews are allowed. You have no right to silence people's opinions. Also, if a product is shit, the customers are allowed to say it's shit. Bullshit number 2. If I want to go in a steakhouse, I will go in a steakhouse. You can't close the door on me. Bullshit number 3. I am not a vegan who complains about meat. I am complaining about the meat tasting awfully because I have taste. If you have no taste and you like eating shit, don't attack those who don't like eating shit. Bullshit number 4. I didn't just come in a steakhouse. I've been watching anime since I was 5. I've been in that steakhouse for 4 decades. And bullshit number 5? Do you know which review of mine got this comment? It wasn't Legend of the Galactic Heroes, it wasn't Full Metal Alchemist, and it wasn't Atomic Galaxy. It was Pedo Shoku Tensei. He was complaining about me not liking how pedo it is. Thus, if you translate this allegory to what meat actually means, is this. If you find a shady site that shares kiddie porn, don't you dare complain about it, and especially don't tell anyone about it. Just because you don't like kiddie porn doesn't mean others shouldn't like it. Don't ruin people's fun. That is the level of mental gymnastics these people go for, in an attempt to both kick you out and silence you from ever talking about it, while actually believing they're doing the right thing. And that's why you should never be a fanboy of anything. So Chibi made this video where he is shocked and disgusted by how most normies, including the executives who are responsible for the distribution of anime, think anime are just porn and action for meatheads. How could they believe such a thing when it's clearly not true? This is one of the main problems anime face today.
This right here explains so much on what is wrong with the current anime industry. You have these individuals that came into the anime space to be able to make as much money as possible without actually fully acquainting themselves or even understanding the culture of anime and manga.
Obviously, if you're not an idiot who uses mental gymnastics to excuse everything, you know this is not true. The actual reason is the community, which is constantly bullying those who have negative opinions into leaving or to apologize and promise never to do it again.
My name is Sai, and I'm here to spread some good old positivity. Because yesterday, a lot of people did not like the fact that I was bashing the hell out of Ronja. Even though I hate Ronja deep down, I'm gonna keep it to myself. I'm gonna stay really positive today.
When you cannot speak up about the negative aspects of something, or when you do, you get bullied, people unsub and eventually flag your videos until the bots are tricked into shutting you down, why do you wonder the normies believe anime are nothing but porn? They don't see anything besides anime fans being gooners and action meatheads. The moment someone speaks up about something he didn't like, everyone attacks him. And I'm not talking about major issues, I'm talking about something as simple as a background character nobody cares about. Nothing is allowed to be criticized, besides the one who is doing the criticism.
I got some bad news to cover today that is affiliated with Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is about to censor Please Put Them On.
Those of you who keep asking why I don't give up since my channel is not growing and my videos don't get many views, you are contributing to the same problem. I am one of the very few YouTubers who hasn't given up yet. Plus I don't have a job or family that can be ruined by assholes doxing me. Meaning, I am a true fan with nothing to fear. The closest channels I can find that are somewhat similar to mine are those that criticize shows which have ended and the hype is gone so nobody cares to turn against them. This is not a healthy way to do things, since by the time a show is over the damage has been done. There is nothing that can be done at that point. In fact, when you only criticize something after it's over, you only make the problem even bigger, since everyone will be acting like the currently airing shows have no issues, like the completed ones. They are perfect, they are improved formulas, they are the new gold standards, and a whole more bunch of bullshit. They all do the same mistakes, the fanboys just ignore them while the show is airing, and then throw under the bus everything that came before them, even if it was used as a direct inspiration. How is this a healthy community when you ignore the problems and attack anyone who speaks up? It is not healthy at all, it is sick, and exactly what the normies think it is, as they view it from the outside. Since they can't be inside, they will either be silenced or kicked out. Therefore, it truly is a medium of porn addicts and action meatheads.
Look up,